First of all, facial expressions work better with D-blend head types. They work the same as the vanilla heads, but they have more blend shape options. That means you have more control over the mouth. Facial expressions are basically blend shape presets. In Studio, they can be accessed from the HS2 pay menu. This pack contains more than 400 presets, 113 for each head type. It might be tiring to navigate through all of them, so it's best to keep only the ones from the heads you use regularly. Instead of naming every single expression, I group them into base emotions for easier access. For example, inside of angry, you have furious, annoyed, hurt, outraged, etc. You also have phonetic articulations for speech animation. You can change them to better fit your main language, as long as you use the same blend shapes. There's a text file with more details in the pack. If you plan on making your own facial expressions, have in mind that when using the head type 2, both vanilla and D blends, the eyelashes blend shapes are misaligned with the rest of the face. You should avoid the link eyes components options and adjust them manually, going back one number in the eyelashes list. Thanks to the user Bombetsu from the Illusion Discord server for pointing out this issue. Now let's move on to timeline. If you watched the tutorials by LavaLamp22, then you know most of its functions. If you haven't, then I recommend you to watch it and read Timeline's help file before you continue. Those files contain all the interpolables you need to animate your character. Each head type has its own file because they have different interpolables. Here we have blend shapes, bones, kinematics, and animations, all interpolated and separated into groups. Seems overwhelming at first, but it gets simpler once you learn how each group works. Working with groups of interpolables makes animating way easier because you can add keyframes for the whole group with just 2 clicks. You can do the same thing with subgroups, allowing you to animate small parts individually. It's the same principle we'll use to animate the face. When adding characters to your scene, you may encounter an issue where Timeline stops working properly. This happens because Studio doesn't clean timeline data when you restore defaults. To fix it, save your scene and restart Studio. Before I explain with more details how face animations work, I'll show you how to use template scenes. To make it easier to create your animations, you can load or import one of the scenes from this pack. Then you replace the template character to one of yours. The template character should match the head type of your card, or Timeline won't work. First, I'll explain how the head tracker works. It basically uses gimmicks to force the head to face its direction. It's similar to the hijack neck gimmick, with some distinctions. Hijack neck has a smoother animation with adjustable speed, but tracker has no limits to its facing direction and can also be rotated. That's why I use it on my scenes. If you wish, you can add idle animation to the head using Timeline. It gives your character a more natural look. I use the hijack look gimmick to move the eyeballs. They also have idle animations. The eyelids are tracked to follow the movement of the eyes. It makes them more realistic. You can adjust the intensity by moving the look at gimmick inside eyelids back and forth. To avoid issues with the eyes twitching and not following the gimmick properly, always set the line of sight to fixed and keep the neck FK on. The POV is pretty simple. It's a camera that follows the eye target. Now I'll show you how to handle multiple characters. When importing more than one character to your scene, you'll notice they'll look wrong. That's because their gimmick channels are mixed up. You have to set unique numbers for each character with the item plugin. So what you'll do is adding a digit to the left that'll increase with the number of characters. Then set the character index. Now I'll explain in detail what each group of interpolables does. Phonetics control tongue, teeth, mouth openness, and a few more blend shapes used for pronunciation. When you add a keyframe inside that group, only those blend shapes will move, the rest will stay intact. That means Timeline will treat facial expressions and speech animation as two separated things. Facial expressions contains all the other blend shapes. That includes eyelashes, eyes, tears, and mouth. I'll add a few keyframes to both groups to show you how they can be animated together. You also have the option to animate isolated parts like eyebrows or eyes by adding keyframes to the subgroups. Moving on to blink. It controls the eye openness, something Studio already does, but now you can control the frequency and time for each blink. This is very important in face animation, especially to showcase emotions. Here's an advice for when you need to copy/paste keyframes. The default hotkey is Ctrl-C. C is also the hotkey to moving objects to the cursor, so you might want to change the hotkey to Ctrl-B or anything you'd like. Micro Expressions adds idle animations to nose and mouth by manipulating its bones. It's disabled by default since it causes small deformations that might change your character's appearance. The movements are slow and subtle, so they're hard to notice at normal speed. You can change the frequency to showcase stronger emotions like anger and fear. Lastly, you have face details for facial expressions. It's also included in the pack. They can't be changed during animation, so they're mostly for rendered screenshots. That's all for this video. If enough people show interest, I'll make a longer and more detailed tutorial. For now, I'll leave you with the scene I use for the introduction so you'll have a better understanding of how I create my animations. Thank you.